Have you ever met a perfect person? Someone who was a perfect communicator and perfect at everything that he did. Someone who was a perfect leader. Someone who was perfect and still remained humble. He conveyed his ideas with such passion and conviction that he could draw you in whether you agreed with him or not. He's a very well-known man. If you Google his name, you will find over 165 million references. If you look his name up on Amazon, you will find that there is over 175,000 books written about him. He was the epitome of a perfect communicator. He ended his public communication over 2,000 years ago, but he is still speaking to his audience today. His knowledge that he continues to impart, if it was written down, all of the libraries in the world would not be able to hold all of the information that his books would produce. No other man has ever touched his audience the way that this man did. He communicates flawlessly. What is the definition of communicate? Communicate is to impart knowledge, to make known, or to communicate an idea. What is the definition of a communicator? A communicator is someone who communicates, especially one skilled at conveying information, ideas, or policy to the public. It is said that it takes 4 things to be a good communicator. You must have good content, well-known subject matter, good confidence, and a connection with your audience. This man did this, and he continues to do this today. He was the author of communication. He spoke the first words ever spoken, and he breathes the breath of life into every human being. He was here when there was no here. What do I mean by this? Well, history tells us that in the beginning there was a heaven and the earth. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and this man was moving over the surface of the waters. He then said, "Let there be light." And because of this one statement, communication was birthed. This idea may seem far-fetched to you. A lot of people have challenged his beliefs, his teachings, his way of life, and his mere existence. But if you will investigate for yourself, you will find that what I'm telling you today is true. You are now a member of his audience. The words that he spoke over 2,000 years ago are still true and powerful. He speaks through his people, his book, and through the lives of others. He communicates with such power and conviction that he has millions of followers today still spreading his word. One of his followers is Tim Tebow. He is receiving a lot of attention in the sports news today. He communicates this man's words through his daily life. Because of Tim Tebow, up until a few years ago, you would find this man that I'm speaking of today, you would find his words on the faces of college football players. Billy Graham is another great communicator. He is one of the greatest communicators that are allowed today. Even he will tell you that his words are not his own. He once said, "We are not merely cisterns made for hoarding. We are channels made for sharing." He is talking about sharing the teachings of this man that I'm speaking of. Billy Graham's ideas are not his own. He is a mere communicator for the author. Today, people still write books, journals, and articles about this man and about his life and his passion for communication to the multitudes. He focuses on convicting his followers so deeply that they will be prompted to share his teachings and his beliefs to other people. One of his last verbal communications was, "Go and make disciples of all nations." What he meant by this is that he wanted his people and his followers to be his voice. You may disagree, because even he said, "Many will hear, but few will follow." But if you listen, he will captivate your attention so deeply that you will be forced to decide whether you will follow him or miss out on one of the greatest adventures of your life.